A watch made in China and a chronograph to boot? Stay tuned for the 3 reasons why I bought the SeaGull 1963. Hello, I'm Bob. Welcome to another episode of Adventures with Time, where I chronicle my endeavors in watch collecting. There are a lot of channels that do watch reviews. In this series, I hope to do a bit more. I want to also provide you with my thought process as to why I purchase a particular watch. In this episode, I go through the 3 reasons why I purchased this SeaGull 1963 chronograph. As usual, I was surfing YouTube to get some watch ideas, and I came across several videos on the SeaGull 1963, and I'll leave the links below to several of them. But let me go through the 3 reasons why I decided to purchase this watch. First up, it's a watch from China. And if you watched my first video, you know that one of my guiding principles is to get watches that are uncommon. Watches that are not familiar to the non-collector. And this watch fits that bill. Second, it's a chronograph. And chronographs are one of the most difficult complications to engineer and manufacture. Take a look at the links below on the history of chronographs. Not that I need one, every mobile phone has a stopwatch, but again, it goes to one of my guiding principles, and that's to get watches with different complications. And third, it's got historical significance. It's the first watch made in China for the aviation industry. In 1961, Project 304 was a government-mandated initiative to create chronographs for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. In 1963, after looking at the models, they went ahead and mass-produced these watches. And in 2013, the 50th anniversary of this watch, they reissued the SeaGull 1963. So this watch really fits in with my collecting direction. And I decided to go ahead and purchase it. After looking around, I decided to buy my watch from Mark at longislandwatches.com. Mark's a great guy and even does his own YouTube videos where he provides reviews of watches and lessons about horology. I'll leave the link to his channel below. Now you can get the SeaGull 1963 in 5 varieties. Now there may be more sold overseas for different markets, I'm not really sure, but these are the 5 that Mark offers. First, you got to decide between a 38mm and a 42mm watch. The 42 comes in 3 colors, black, white, and what I would call a gold or cream color. They all come with a mineral crystal. The 38 comes in this gold cream again, and comes in either a mineral or acrylic crystal. I decided to go for the 38mm watch with the acrylic crystal. That's the most faithful to the original design. And of course, it's a manual wind, not an automatic, so you have to wind it almost every day. Let's take a closer look at the watch on the desk. I know some of the watches came in a round commemorative tin celebrating the 50th anniversary of the watch. Mine came in this equally nice brown presentation box. As for the watch itself, mine came on this green NATO strap, and I guess that fits the military type look of the watch, but I wasn't too impressed by it. So I bought this Hadley Roma nylon and leather brown strap, and I think it fits it really well. Now, as you know, I went for the 38mm watch. You can see all the other specifications here on the screen. The case is polished stainless steel, and you've got blue painted hour, minute, and second hands. They're not heat-treated blue, they're painted blue. And that dial, I would say it's somewhat of a cream color, maybe with a little green in it. It's hard to tell. And as you can see, the second hand is in the subdial here on the left. And then you have the chronograph with the second hand. It's not going, so the second hand is at 12. And the 30-minute indicator on the right subdial. You have gold applied hour indices and a minute and sub-minute markings all the way around the edge. You have a crown and two pushers. The crown has two positions. This one for winding, it's a manual wind. So I wind it every morning that I'm using it until I get somewhat of a resistance so I don't overwind and mess up the mechanism. Pull it out one position to set the time. As you can see, it is not hacking, which isn't that big of a problem. The crown itself is marked with the Chinese star, and the top pusher is to activate and deactivate the chronograph, and the bottom pusher is to reset it. And this is really a mechanical watch. You can feel the mechanisms doing something when you're pressing these buttons. Now to the back. It's a display back, so you can see all of those gears and levers and cams as they actuate. The Chinese writing here, I finally was able to figure out what the translation is, and it stands for China Air Force First Piece of Aviation Chronograph Remade. And that's to indicate that this is an anniversary piece of the original 1963 watch. Now, there are several ways to design a chronograph. This one happens to be a column wheel. Another mechanism is a cam lever. Both of them describe or determine how you engage the chronograph gears. You can see the column wheel down here with some notches on it. And by the way, I'll leave a link to a video which describes this a bit better. But you can see that as I push the start and stop, you'll see this wheel turn, and this gear engage with the center gear here, which initiates the second hand. And now the second hand is moving, and if I push it again, that column wheel will rotate a bit, and the gears running the chronograph will disengage. There you go. And of course, reset is another set of gears and levers. As I said, rather than using the green NATO strap that came with the watch, I purchased for about $18 this Hadley Roma green nylon and brown leather strap. And that still gives the watch the feel of a military device. Now, in the time that I've had this watch, I must say that it has achieved one of my goals for my watch collection, in that it's a watch that people don't recognize normally. And wherever I am, whether it's at work or out socially, they ask me what it is, where I got it, and that gets us into a discussion about watches and watch collecting. And that's part of the joy that I'm getting from this hobby. So there you have it, another addition to my growing collection of watches. Please subscribe and hit the like button if you appreciate what I'm doing here. And please, as always, provide comments on how I can improve these videos for you. And if you haven't seen my first video, I'll leave the link here so you can start from the beginning.